This is the salad that will drop your blood pressure, cholesterol, your weight, your diabetes.
Can you believe a doctor will give you a medication and he don't have a clue what it's going to do for you? Why you cannot get hard. When a woman has the proper nutrients in her body, young lady, she will not have a cycle.
So there's a possibility that this virus can walk its way, wiggle straight through your condom. I'll say it till I die. The body was made to heal itself. He would hit that table hard as he could. And he screamed at the top of his voice. He said, "Let this man help my daughter."
You get this knowledge by paying some dues.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the Food Prophet, staying alive till 125. This is all about teaching you how God's herbs truly work and what it's all about. And this is information to spread all over the world and to let people know how I came about this situation. Ladies and gentlemen, this all began in 1955 when I ate the Red Devil Lie poison. I was 5 months old. You don't get this knowledge by waking up or reading books or going through the internet. You get this knowledge by paying some dues. Ate Red Devil Lie, fell out the bed. I was a baby, only 5 months old. And babies do what? When they come in contact with something, they put it in their mouth. I knocked the can over. The can had a picture of the devil's face. It was called Red Devil Lie. This poison was so strong that if you pour it on concrete, it would burn a hole directly through the concrete. One of the strongest poisons known to mankind, Red Devil Lie. I was a baby, fell out the bed, and I knocked the can over. My cousin wasn't watching. She was babysitting, but was not particularly watching. And I knocked the can over. This can was about so big, and it had a picture of the devil's face on the can. I ate the devil's poison at 5 months old. They rushed me to a hospital. The hospital was on a street called Kings Highway. And at this particular hospital, Barnes Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri, where I'm from, I was born and raised. At this particular hospital, the people who took care of me were nuns, and they wore white hats, looked like wingtips on their hats. And I called these ladies angels because at that time, I didn't know much other. And at that time, I wasn't, 1,000% on who I was, what I was, or anything. I was just a young baby, okay? And so these women would pick me up. These nuns, they would pick me up, and they would hold me up in front of this glass window. And when my mother come to the hospital, she put her hand on one side of the glass. I put my hand on the other side of the glass. And that's how me and my mother talked for the first 5 years. I tell people I have love for helping you in an abundant way. And the reason why I have so much love is because as a baby, I was not able to be picked up. I was not able to touch my mother, be hugged by my mother. I had to see my mother through the glass every day. I lived in a glass room that was inside a glass room, inside another glass room. Some people remember this old movie, I think they called The Boy in the Bubble. Well, that was my exact life. I lived in a glass room where you could not come out the room. When I ate this Red Devil Lie, it ripped out my throat. I had no esophagus. They put tubes in my throat, and I had strings coming out of both of my nostrils. Back in those days, they used to call me Catfish because I had 2 long strings coming out of my nostrils, each one. And these strings were to keep the tubes from falling down, okay, into my stomach. During that time, they fed me as a baby. They fed me directly through my stomach. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, right here. You take a look. I'm showing you where my scar. I wear a stripe. I tell you, like Jesus wore his stripes, I wore a stripe, and this is how I got here. The devil, ladies and gentlemen, in 1955, the devil knew that I would talk greater for God, greater for helping you stay alive. He knew that my voice would be the ultimate in God's word and the ultimate healing. That's why this lie was, how do you say, how it came about me. The devil knew that I would be the one, okay? So they put all of my food directly into this hole, and it was closed over with plastic and Velcro, what have you. I lived in a hospital for 5.5 years. My first day out of the hospital, I took my arms and leg and I wrapped them around a tree. I grabbed this tree and I locked myself around this tree, and my family members were trying to pull me apart. They couldn't pull me apart from this tree. I had never seen a tree in my life. I'd never been outside. 5.5 years, never seen the outside.
Let everybody know that we help people with herpes and AIDS. Dr. Jolly Harris, the food prophet, does not discriminate. We help white people, black people, everybody from all over the world. So if you have herpes and AIDS, you come to us, we will help you with that situation. Thank you very much.
That's honestly how I began at 5.5 years old. By the time I was 6 years old, my mother would take me to church. And when I went to church, women used to take their hands and put it on me, on my back, on my shoulder, and women would scream to other women, touch that boy, touch that boy. They say, if you touch that boy, we're positive that you're gonna get healed. Just touch that boy, you're gonna get the miracle. He's the miracle boy. And they called me the miracle boy beginning at about 6 years old. And one of the reasons for them calling me this miracle boy was because I would go to the people on the block. We had a lot of old ladies on the block that would babysit for us. And one of the days, one of this lady's named Nanny, we called her Nanny, and she babysitted almost everybody's child on the block, but she babysitted me specifically also. And so one day I was at Nanny's house, and I would take my hand and move it around her leg, and after an hour, hour and a half, I say, Nanny, get up and walk. And she could get up and walk. And when Nanny got up and walked, she had no more swelling in her leg. And because of this, all the old women at the church would call me the miracle boy. They say, there he is, that miracle boy. So all of my life, I've been knowing that God had bestowed in me miracles. I've known since a little boy that God ordained, anointed, and appointed me. And when this happened, exactly when I left the hospital at about 6 years old, the doctor told my mother that this boy's not gonna make it. Said, this boy's not gonna make it. I've had 21 operations on my throat. Every year until I turned 21, when children go, how do you say, they go out to school for the summer vacation, when all the children take off to go to their summer vacation, I would go directly to the hospital. And I would be in the hospital during the summer vacation. Then I come back to school. So I never got to have a summer vacation like other kids, because I had to go back to the hospital, and they called it dilation, where they put these tubes back in my throat and reopened my throat so that I could eat, so that I could talk. The devil never wanted me to talk. Never, ever wanted me to talk. I learned quite a bit. My mother took me to, like everybody does, they go to Disneyland. Okay, when I came out of the hospital, they took me to Disneyland, flew me to California. I got to meet my grandfather. And when I met my grandfather, he taught me an awful lot. Cherokee, Blackfoot, Redbone. His father was a native medicine man. My grandfather said that his dad never, ever worked for man. He only worked for God, being a medicine man. So my grandfather taught me a lot of tricks. He taught me how to grow by the moon. When I was 6 years old, he said, get on your knees, boy. He said, point over here to the east. And I'd point to the east. And when I pointed to the east, he said, raise your hand up here just a little bit. He said, right here you grow the beans. Raise your hand a little bit. Right here you grow the rice. Raise your hand a little bit. Right here you grow the potatoes. Raise your hand a little bit. Right here you grow the vegetables. Raise your hand a little bit. Right here you grow the fruits. My grandfather taught me the native way how to grow
by looking at the sun. My grandfather took a Bible, took my finger, stuck it directly on the chapter, Mark chapter 4, verse 30 through 32. We had to read it together over and over and over again. My grandfather taught me about this mustard seed. He said, son, I could tell the world about this and I could teach the world a lot. He said, but they'll take me out. They're not going to let me live if I come up and I do the talking. He says, you do it. He said, one day you'll be able to tell the world the truth about this mustard seed and what it's all about. So my whole career began with the mustard seed. Okay? The mustard seed from the Bible, Mark chapter 4, verse 30 through 32, and also in Matthew 16, where God talks about having the faith of a grain of the mustard seed. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you this mustard seed. Here it is. Not only is it a seed for health, this seed, when you listen to it, this seed was one of the first signs for musical instruments. It was in your maracas. It was in the rain sticks. This seed right here, they had it in the rain sticks when you flip them up and down. They had them in the maracas. This seed was used as an instrument in a wooden little round ball on a stick. Okay? So this seed is a great seed. It does many, many things for the body. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at the greatest medicine cabinet on the planet Earth. This is 1,000 times greater than any hospital. There is no hospital on the planet Earth that can compete with what is in this cabinet. There's no doctors, no herbal doctors, no scientists. Nobody can give you better knowledge about healing than I can through these items right here in this cabinet. I teach people to go to your medicine cabinet, take everything out of your medicine cabinet, and allow yourself to replace with all of these items I have here, okay? Replace it with these items. Your medicine cabinet should be your food, and your food should be your medicine, okay? So God gave me the idea to take a china cabinet and flip the whole china cabinet into a hospital, okay? I want women to know that these seeds do blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, your weight. If you chew them, they help with your vision and cataracts. If you chew them, they help with Alzheimer's. They help with dementia. They help with aneurysms to the brain. They help with tumors all over your body. They help shrink tumors. I had a guy come to me that had about 150 balls over him. His tumors were sticking out all over his body. This Indian guy that came to me, his family said, we know you can help him. I had him start on the mustard seed. He went to India, nobody could help him. He went to see the Swamis. The Swamis in India are some of the greatest doctors on the planet Earth with their Ayurvedic system. But I gave him these seeds and I asked him to eat 5 spoons a day. The man ate 5 spoons a day. It reduced all the tumors in his body. They all left the building. He was perfectly fine. So these seeds do many things. I also make sure that women, men, seniors. This is very, very important for seniors because seniors, when they get old, if they fall, many times when they have a break, they die, okay? These seeds right here will put calcium, iron, magnesium, zinc, potassium into your bones. So if a senior trips or falls down, they can just get up. They may have a little pain. They can brush it off, but the bottom line is they won't have to go to the doctor. They won't have to see a hospital, okay? I want to speak a little bit about what you're looking at in this cabinet because, how do you say, there's a lot of talk about herbs all over the world. All of these herbal doctors, all of these herb specialists. The first thing I want to say about the herbs that we have here, they begin with seeds. Everything begins with seeds. So I basically am a seed junior master, okay? Because I'm always learning and learning and learning under God. So I call myself a student master because I'm nonstop learning under God, okay? A student master to these seeds. Also, take a look at the seeds right here. Example, the black seed, the methi seed, the red lip seed. Ladies and gentlemen, you've not been taught correctly. The herbs are all about the seed. The seed is 1,000 times more important than the actual herb that you're eating. The seed where the herb came from is exactly what I'm talking about. And that's exactly what we do here. We take the seeds and we crush them up, and I mix them up with our own formula, and I make the medicines and give them to you. Okay, so these seeds are really the ultimate in life. Okay, Genesis 1:29 in the Bible, God said, behold, I give you every herb-bearing seed. He said, to you it shall be meat, to every beast, to every fowl, to everything that creepeth upon the face of the earth. And it is so. God talks about this in Genesis 1:29. Can you believe I got my program directly out of the Bible? Genesis 1:29. When I talk to preachers and I go to churches and I do seminars and I preach at churches and I talk to them all about this, and I ask the pastors, what about Genesis 1:29? The pastors tell me, they go, hold it. God gave you a view. He gave you the direct message about the seed. He said, all of us preachers, when we read it, we see something different. We hear something different. He said, but God gave you his spiritual technical view on that seed and how to go about using it to help others in abundance in their life. Ladies and gentlemen, your life begins with these seeds. If there was a war, if there was an earthquake, if there was any catastrophe where some nuclear stuff hit this earth, if anything happened and there was no food, nowhere in no stores, and you didn't know what to eat, what to do, these seeds will keep you alive. These seeds are extremely healthy. Because of these seeds, I've never used vitamins. All of my life, no vitamins. 50 years and no vitamins. Can you believe that? Ever since 6 years old, back then, maybe I had a couple of, what do you call those, chewable Flintstone vitamins. Oh, they were kind of tasty, fruity. Oh, they tasted like bubble gum and candy. So I used to chew them for a little while. But I learned that this was not the way. The seeds are the ultimate in health. Please take a very close look at these seeds. This is where life begins. All over the world, the seeds. People don't know this, but the very, very, very beginning of time, when man first started eating, man didn't eat like you eat right now. Man would watch the birds and the seeds were on the ground, and man would go down and pick up the seeds and eat like this and grab the seeds. Life began with the seeds. So I want you to know the seeds are extremely important. The seeds are what these what do you want to say? These chemical companies that are now turning into companies that are giving you and making your food and controlling all your food. These chemical companies are destroying the seeds, okay? Example, an apple seed. Back in 1960, an apple seed would grow you one of the greatest apples in 1950, 1960, 1970. But right now in the year 2000, an apple seed is a joke. In 1965, if you bite into an apple, the juice would shoot across and hit your friend in the face. The apples were that loaded with nutrients back in the day. So a seedology is not about the herbs, not at all about the herbs, okay? I want all women to know, we don't want you to go to the doctor and ever open your legs for a doctor. I'll say it again. Don't go spread your legs for a doctor for no reason. I preach this because God has given us many things to help you down below without opening your legs. Here's one of the items here. We call it the anointed oil, okay? With this oil, it does about 50 things for the woman below without you seeing a doctor. Just give you an example of a few. This oil right here works for chlamydia, works for yeast, it works for fibroid tumors, it works for cysts. It even works for cataracts around your eyes. You stick your finger in it, draw your circle around your eye like the dog in an old movie, a spot, and do it like this. And guess what? It works and it clears the cataracts. This oil also helps with your feet. You can rub it on your feet. A lot of us got old, alligator, crocodile feet. Well, this oil makes your feet look like a brand new spanking baby. It does many things. Also, I have instructed. I want everybody to hear me very, very clearly. I've instructed thousands of women, and I mean at least 5 to 10,000 that have followed my instructions, and you'd get a sterile pad from your local drugstore. Sterile pad about so big, 2 by 2. And you put a tablespoon and a half of this oil on a sterile pad, gauze, Gauze. You make sure it has no scents, just a clean, sterile pad. And when you put this oil on the pad, you press it inside the vaginal area. Yes, I said the vaginal area. You push it up inside and you leave just a tiny bit sticking out so you can pull it out in the morning. My instructions are to push this inside you, leave it inside you overnight. If it tingles, if it burns, if it stings, don't worry about it. If it does any of these things when you put it inside, it's because this works like a seek and search missile. If you have chlamydia, if you have yeast, if you have fibroid tumors, if you have urinary tract infections, if you have ovarian cancer, if you have excessive bleeding, hemorrhaging, this does 50 things for the woman down below. Nobody's talked about this, and I don't know why, but when women open the legs for a doctor, they used to never do this. But nowadays, the doctors got the women constantly opening their legs. They want a pap smear. They want to do this. They want to do that. And I'm saying once again, never open your legs for a doctor unless you're having a baby, okay? If you have a situation down here, a vaginal problem, a yeast problem, menstrual problem, chlamydia problem, you call the doctor and I'll help you get through, okay? This also thickens your hair. Women call me all the time and they say, Doc, I'm losing my hair, it's thinning, what can I do? I tell them, pull away from the butter and the spices and pull away from the coffee and take this and put it on the edges of your hair. It will thicken your hair. It'll make it thick like a carpet. It also takes wrinkles out the face. If you clean your face with it every day, it'll make you brand new. It'll make you look young. This oil is one of the greatest things on the planet Earth. It's called Anointed oil. I have women put it under the cup line of their breasts. I have women put it in their armpits. I have women rub this on the tips of their nipple. And why do I do this? Because it shuts down cancer. I know that this oil moves so much oxygen through the blood. And people don't know that your skin breathes like this. Your skin breathes like a vacuum cleaner when it sucks in. So you rub this on your skin and it's gonna suck it up, okay? Your body's gonna suck this up and it's gonna work all throughout your internal body, your internal organs. This is gonna do everything for you. It is called the Anointed oil. You rub it anywhere you got pains. When I do seminars in churches, the women that are above 80, they run to me faster than anybody because they know that once they put this oil on their legs, it's going to take all the pain out their legs. It takes pain out of people's back that have had serious accidents in cars and all kind of things like this, okay? It also takes the varicose stretch marks out of your legs. It relieves that, right? It takes even a man, if he's got vessels and lines in his legs where the blood is reaching out and you can see those purple veins coming out of your leg, it takes care of that. And guess why you need to put this on your feet when you see those veins coming up? Because people don't know this, but the blood clots in your legs, when your legs start, showing all these veins and they're sticking out, your blood is clotting. And from your feet, people get heart attacks every day from their feet. They rush up to the brain, okay? So this oil does 1,000 things for the body. It is one of the greatest on the planet Earth. I also have people use this on their cats and their dogs when they have arthritis and they can't move. This oil does all of those things, okay? You can also use this to clear on the rear end after you sitting off the toilet. I have men take this oil and put it down below and clean themselves real good with this in their private area. When men do this, it puts oxygen down there, okay? And when the oxygen goes in, the prostate problem goes away. People don't know a lot of healing will leave the body if you can just replace it with oxygen. The right type of oxygen will heal the body. It will turn everything upside down and inside out. So I want you guys to try this. Anytime you get ready, please try this and use tissue paper. Don't use cotton. Don't use, paper towels. Only use tissue paper with toilet paper, nose tissue paper, and it works perfectly. Also, you take this, you put tissue inside it, and you put it in your nose, both nostrils. And when you do this, you clean out your nose, go as far as you can. It cleans that virus that's been killing everybody. It clears it, right? It opens up the ear, nose, and throat when you clear this out, okay? So if you want to help your vision, put this in the nose and clear it out. You want to help your throat? Put it in your nose, clear it out. You want to help your hearing? Put it in your nose and clear it out. It's going to do all of those things, okay? So I want you to know that we carry what's necessary to heal the body. It's very important that everybody knows that every item I give you, every item does a minimum of 50 things. And guess what, people? Take a look right here. You're going to see. I want you to notice one thing that you see on this cabinet here, this medicine cabinet, that you see nowhere on earth, nowhere on the world. I may be the only person that every herb, everything I give you is in a clear bottle where you can see it. When you go and buy herbs from your local stores, from your herbal doctors, from whoever it is, you can't tell what's in that package. It's in a white frosted bottle, a gray frosted bottle, and most of the herbs in America are all brown or beige or green or what have you. They all look basically the same. If you dump all the herbs on the table, they all look the same. When you look at the herbs that I show you here, you see the different colors of the rainbow. I have much more to show you than what you see right here. But God wants me to start you off with these 7 items because these items will do 1,000 things for your body. They will keep you away from doctors. They will keep you away from the hospital. These herbs do number one thing. They heal the body. They bring nutrients to the body so you never, ever need, any vitamins. You get all your vitamins right here in the case, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And the third thing that these herbs do that I have, a gentleman called me on the phone. I want the world to know this. Man called me on the phone and said he pays $700 a month for his food costs, for his home, okay, for his family, for a family of 4. His children are in sports. He said, man, since you started giving me your herbs, he says, our food costs went from $1,100 down to $700. He says, I want to thank you. My wife wants to thank you because now we're spending $400 less on food. He said, my kids are into sports. He said, they burn a lot of energy. He said, they take up a lot of food during a week. He said, but since you've been bringing these herbs through and shipping it to us, he says, my children aren't hungry like that no more because these herbs, they send a signal to your brain that you're not hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, of the church, this is why I get to live and look like this. This is why my body's the same size since high school. May God bless you. May God keep you. May your food be your medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the food prophet, and I want to thank you, okay? We are all about doing one thing here. The message to the church, the message is to the world, is that we want you to stay alive till 125. Thank you, and God loves you.